Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Glowing Card Gaming. I'm your host, Adam, and this is the NFL Week 5 picks against the spread. Um, do a little bit of analysis as I go through these, possibly, but um, mainly I'm just going to try and do my picks and get through this. I actually have already picked for the week, so I'm just going to go through maybe a little bit of what I was thinking and um, overall uh, why I picked what I picked and why. Now, this week I didn't do so much of that opposite picking, like, because it, I mean, it seems like a coin toss. So I might as well try to pick the games as I see or as I think they should actually be, and who will win every week. So either way, I'm the Jim Cramer of this. So don't forget, if you actually bet, you probably want to pick the opposite of what I pick on these. That being said, let's get into it. First game we have on the docket is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons, and the Falcons are favored at home, um, but they have a worse record at 2-2. Tampa Bay is 3-1. Actually, I think Tampa Bay is the better team. I don't know why they're giving you 1.5 with that. I think that's kind of a deal. I won't say this is a lock because Atlanta could win. They're at home, but I think the Bucs are a better team, so I am going to pick the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to not just to get up by 1.5, but to actually win it. So We'll come down to the next game. This one might actually be the lock of the week. I don't think. Well, if the Jets are really that good, then the Broncos are way better than anyone is giving them credit for. If people think the Jets can make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers, the Broncos are definitely going to make the playoffs this year with Bo Nix. Now, do I think either one of those things is going to happen? No. Maybe possibly the Broncos, but they'd have to do it at 9-8 probably. I think they're going to get over 500 this year. They're definitely going to win more than the 5 games that all the sloppy analysts and the AI um, things have picked. Because I think that's what they're doing anymore is they're just letting AI do all the work and reading from script. I am not doing that. This is all me. You're getting pure human intelligence here. Whether or not that's good remains to be seen, as I'm not picking all that great. But I think this one is probably pretty good with the Vikings -2.5. They are 4-0. They are rolling. They are good. And they will win on Sunday. So, and they do play in London. So who knows how that jet lag is going to affect Rodgers? I think he might actually, um, I think they might actually. Well, for some reason I had it flipped in my mind that the Vikings were getting 2.5. Now the Jets definitely are probably going to lose this, and probably more than 3, maybe more like 10. Um, who knows though? That's why they play the games every week, and I have not been picking that well. So there you go. That's what I got to say about it. We'll move on here to the Browns and Commanders. Um, and you can see the Commanders are doing a lot better than the Browns at 3-1 and 1-3. They're only favored by 3 points, and they're at home. So I think the Commanders probably get this one. I'm going to pick the Washington Commanders for that game. Moving along quickly to the Indianapolis Colts and Jaguars. The Jaguars are ridiculously bad. They are bad. Uh, I'm not sure why they're favored. And you're going to give the Colts +3. I'm taking the Colts. Absolutely. I don't know how they arrived at this number. Um, but again, Vegas knows what they're doing. Always keep that in mind and bet responsibly if you're going to do it. So the next game we have is the Buffalo Bills at the Houston Texans. Um, at the at the time I picked this, it's weird. At the time I picked this, the Bills were favored by 1.5, so I locked it in at that point. Um, so for the purposes of this video, as always, I'm going to use the number that's on the screen. So with the spread being changed like that, um, well, I think it's going to be a tight and a close game. You know what? I'm going to stick with my original pick, even though now they are favored by 1. We're going to take the Bills at -1. Might as well, you know. And then we have the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. Both of these teams are not great. It might be that the Dolphins are a better team, but that is not the way I picked. And I'm not sure why I thought the way I did, other than the Patriots are at home. Um, yeah, I think that's plain and simple why I picked the Patriots. They seem to be two teams that are kind of looking about the same, so that home crowd may give them the advantage. So I'll go ahead and pick the Patriots -1 there. Tough, tough as always to call some of these. I think that one is more of a coin toss. Miami may come in there and win it, but I'm gonna go with the Patriots at home on that one. With the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears, I think Carolina. I can't remember who they beat last week, but it wasn't anybody that is of any significance. And the Bears have beaten two teams that are well. Um, and again, the odds have changed a little bit. I took the Bears originally at -3.5. We'll lock in the Bears again at a 4-point favorite. I think they'll win that, maybe even by 7. But they could have it pegged right on at 4. So went a little too high. I'm trying to keep an eye on my video, make the picks, and make sure that I'm not scrolling too high, so you can see what I'm doing on my screen here. So bear with me, just week to week. This is an experiment. Again, keep in mind I have a full-time job. I have people that call and talk to me for 4 hours at night during a weeknight, which is what happened last night. So pretty exhausted. So I don't know how late I'll stay up playing Command & Conquer, but we'll give it a go. I still think we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of streaming tonight, although it'll probably be only 1 or 2 levels. Anyway, moving on. Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. I wouldn't say this is a lock by any means, but I think Baltimore is just that much better than the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals are really even all that great at 1-3. Probably should. Well, I think they did roll last week. Who knows? Like when teams start to gel and adjust to the league, week 4 is the week that teams start to make the adjustments. You have enough film on the other teams. You know about the coaches and all of that. So teams are starting to make the adjustments and figure things out. So it could be at any point a team just catches fire and rolls 5, 6, 7 wins off in a row, and they run right into the playoffs. All of that being said, Baltimore Ravens -2.5 on that. Going moving on, we have the Cardinals at the Niners, and as well as the Niners did last week, I can't not pick them again against another team that's somewhat mediocre. -7 seems reasonable for the Niners. I think they won by like 19 last week or something like that. So we just went over that. You think I would have the scores kind of fresh in my mind, but even so, I don't. We have the next one, the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. This is a tougher one for me because, is my bias getting in the way? Do I think the Broncos, am I overcommitting to them? Are they as good as I think they are, or is it the hometown hype getting to me and, are they really not as good? Uh, Two straight wins rolling off. I personally don't think the Raiders are as good as people have given them credit for. I understand that the Raiders have now beaten the Broncos like 8 straight. It's a little frustrating because, as a Broncos fan, we know that the Raiders own the series overall. Um, and now they have it by like 16 games. And that sucks because I thought within my lifetime I might actually see the Broncos take over that record because they got within 8 before the last 8 games rolled off. Um, so I think it's been since like 2019, so it might even be more games than that. But I know that Denver got within 8 or 6 of taking over those wins, overall wins, and kind of wish we had Shanahan because Shanahan could plan for the Raiders like nobody's business. He basically owned them when he was here. That all of that being said, I think it is time for a Denver Broncos win. Do they do it by 3 or more? Well, that's just a field goal. It's not that big of an obstacle to overcome. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to risk it. This is kind of a risk. This is definitely not a lock. I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos at -2.5. So there you go. That's my risky pick of the week. Not a lock. Um, yeah. So the next one is the New York Giants at Seattle Seahawks. Now, Seattle beat Denver earlier this year by, I think, 7. Um, didn't look great doing it, but the Giants look not great as it stands. The Seahawks are at home. Home teams usually favored by 7, and for a reason. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks -6.5. I hope they can take it by 7. We'll see how that goes. Next, we got the Packers at the Rams. I think this is kind of an easy one, and I think they have the line pretty right on. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Packers. They're just better than the Rams overall. Um, I don't even think it's close. Yeah, I think the Packers win this one. Again, I don't know if there's a lock this week. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure with that. If there is a lock, I'll be sure to mention it. I mean, could go back through these picks and see, what game I think is the most likely to be. If I had to pick one game um, where I'm for sure going to pick the winner against the spread, I this week it's not. I'm not as confident about that. Moving on, we got our final 2 games here. We got the Steelers by favored by 2.5 against the Cowboys. Steelers didn't do as well last week. Took their first loss. Um, Cowboys have been scoring a lot of points, but I think the Steelers defense can stop them from such a high scoring game. And if they can do that, I think the Steelers do win in a lower scoring game, and do win by 2.5 or more. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Steelers there. And then the, um, pardon me for just 1 second. Everything went wonky on me. All right, so back at it. We have the Saints and the Chiefs for the last one. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering like how much money you could win on this, so might possibly log in here and kind of show you what that payout might look like, if you were to pick all of these games against the spread. Um, I think on a $20 bet, it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $160,000. So if you need some life-changing money and you think you can do it, go for it. And you have the means. That's the biggest. If you don't have $20 to spare, you need to feed your kids, do that. Don't don't be doing this. So, I mean, just some free advice. Do the right thing. All right. As I always say, be good to each other. That's part of being good to each other. Take care of each other first, and then have fun after that. So Saints and Chiefs. Now, this is the interesting game of the week because watching the Chiefs play the Chargers last week, I mean, the Chiefs actually looked slightly better last week, but they continue to rack up the injuries on their team. Um, so they do have more injuries, and the Saints are actually a decent team, even though their record shows 2-2. The Chiefs are 4-0. I get that the Chiefs are at home, but I think this might be the first week the Chiefs actually suffer a loss. So I think I've picked the Chiefs to win every single week. So they've kind of saved me a bit for the most part. But I know that they're playing like the Raiders, and they were playing the Chargers, but I think they were only favored by like 1.5 or something. So I thought, yeah, they'll probably cover that. And again, a divisional opponent, everybody always plays a little harder, a little better. I don't think the Chiefs have that fire within them because they're playing a non-divisional opponent, even at home. And I think that this opponent actually is a stronger opponent for them. It's not like they're playing Green Bay or the Bills or somebody or the Niners, who are probably going to the playoffs. Um, the Niners look fairly strong, even though they do have a loss. I think the Chiefs might be the only undefeated team left, but I think they are going to suffer their first loss. And with that, you're going to give me 5.5 on the Saints. I'm going to take it. Um, and even if the Chiefs win, but they only do it by 3 or something like that, I still get the win. I think this, with the spread, might be the lock. I'm not 100% for sure of that. Let me quickly go back through. The Niners at -7, I don't think that's a lock. That's too many points to be given up. Um, the Bears at Carolina might be the lock of the week. I don't see anything else that. Maybe the Commanders -3. That's a pretty good pick there too. I think both of those games are wins for me. The Vikings. Oh, the Vikings are 4-0, and they're playing the Jets. This is probably the lock. This is, I think, a definite win for me at -2.5. Um, this is the lock of the week, I think, right here. So, um, yeah. So those I mean, the games I just went over. I'm pretty sure those four, at least, are going to be wins. So yeah, just if you do bet, bet responsibly. Um, just be careful. And Vegas, again, they know what they're doing. As you've seen on here, as I've been picking, you know, they have the number almost pegged. They have it at like 2.5, and somebody wins by 3 or 2. Um, I've missed like 8 games or something like that, just because I picked the wrong team that was on that half point side or the other. So um, just be careful, watch yourself, and if you do bet, bet responsibly. Um, that's all I have for this week for the picks. This is Glowing Card Gaming, and again, I am Adam. Be sure before I sign out, I haven't been saying like, subscribe, hit the notification button. But the subscribe and sharing the videos is really going to get more people to view and come to my channel. So those are the things I really would have you guys focus on. If you do anything, subscribe and share. And I really appreciate everything you guys do for me. So if you do that, I thank you. I thank you a lot. And as always, be good to each other. I'll see you next time.